Hey guys, Grant here. I want to tell you about my friends at Blackberry Inn and Suites of downtown Gatlinburg who are making it possible to bring this episode to you. As you guys know, I grew up in East Tennessee, and there are two things that all East Tennesseans have in common. We all love the Vols, and we all love the Smoky Mountains. Since I've moved to Nashville, I've been unable to get my Smoky Mountain fix in as much as I would like, but thankfully, my friends at Blackberry Inn and Suites of downtown Gatlinburg have me covered. They are conveniently located at 1100 Parkway and are within walking distance of the best food and major attractions that Gatlinburg has to offer. To book your stay today, call 865-436-5656 or toll free at 1-800-933-0777 or visit them on the World Wide Web at blackbeargatlinburg.com. Welcome into this episode of the Vawlin Out podcast. I am Grant Williams, and man, you're back from vacation and we're in person. How you doing, my man?
Oh, buddy, I'm good. I'm glad to be back. I appreciate the time off. I needed it. I'm glad to be back and ready to roll again.
Man, it's been fun. We had a good show last night for our bracket breakdown. I think lots of good picks were on there. I mean, we had the who's who of Vawlin Out guests on that show.
That was an awesome show. We appreciate everybody that jumped on with us, took the time to break down their bracket and everything like that with us and talk some ball. And man, there were some interesting brackets last night, wasn't there?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know, man. I mean, I'm going to be a little bit biased right here, but I think mine might have been the most interesting, but I think everybody's going to say that about theirs.
Right.
But man, we've got a jam-packed show today. We're going to recap whatever the hell that Mississippi State game was in Nashville on Friday last week. I mean, man, talk a little bit about the Basevols, and maybe it's time to pump the brakes there just a tad bit, because I was thinking that team might be bringing a natty back to the 865, and you know, I don't know. I'm not going to overreact after one weekend. Little bit of an update when it comes to spring football.
Yeah.
But it's March. I don't want to talk football in March.
Right.
I want to talk basketball in March.
We got bigger fish to fry right now.
Hell yeah, we do. And then, man, got a very special guest coming on later today as well. Rich Behan from St. Peter's University is going to come on and help us preview the Peacocks.
Man, you had me bird dog one, and I did it.
Man, you did. You found a needle in a damn haystack, man. But, man, let's dive into whatever the hell this game was on Friday.
Do we have to?
Unfortunately, man. I mean, I don't think Rick right here wants to do it either. But
I don't blame him.
He's got to, just like we do, man. Top-seeded Vols in the SEC tournament fall to Mississippi State, 73-56. Man, the ninth-seeded Bulldogs had their way this entire game.
Oh, man. They did, dude. They embarrassed Tennessee.
It was
straight
horrible.
up.
It was horrible, man. It was the worst Tennessee game I think I've ever been to in person in my entire life.
I mean, dude, they look like men amongst boys out there against Tennessee, and that's unusual. Like, there's no excuse for that. None whatsoever.
I also think that this may have something to do with the fact that it was a meaningless game for Tennessee. It was not meaningless for State. That's very obvious at this point. But it just, I don't know, man. It never seemed to really get going for Tennessee. And reason for concern, sure. I don't think everybody needs to go jump off a bridge like they want to over this game. But major concerns for this team moving forward, in my opinion.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you got to be, it don't matter. It's a time of the year now to where you have to be up for everybody you're going to play, because everybody you're going to play is out to win. Not that they're not all year long, but especially now, you know what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah.
You've got to bring your A game. And, too, the Kentucky game, everybody's up in arms about that. That Kentucky game didn't matter. It just didn't. And I'm not saying that's why we lost, but, it's just one of those deals where it didn't matter. We had a bad game.
Horrible game. Not just a bad game. Let's call it what it is. It was horrible. It was not fun to watch. There was nothing fun about this game. Biggest concern for me, man, well, two concerns on this. One with this team and one with the program. Tennessee has defensive woes in this game, man. I mean, you had a hard time stopping State. We'll dive into that when we get to the box score. But then also, the Vols failed to make it past the quarterfinals in the SEC tournament for the second straight year.
Man, yeah, that's definitely a cause for concern. But I think this year's team is more capable of bouncing back than last year's team, I think.
Well, you have the same team. You just added Dalton Connect and Zakai Ziegler to it. And that's really what it comes down to. So I'm not ready to push the red button and raise the white flag yet. It's not time to be overly concerned. But this team is either going to break my heart in the first weekend of the tournament, or they are going to make me the happiest person in the entire world. And I hate that I put my mental health on a group of 18 to 22-year-olds. That's just a great decision on my part. Diving into the full team stats in this game, man, Tennessee shot 30.6% from the field on taking 62 shots.
Man, dude, that's awful. That is terrible.
It's horrible, man.
Terrible.
Okay, Chuck. Okay, Chuck. Man, I mean, you look at this right here, too. I mean, State shot 55.3% from the field. Tennessee's got to figure out a way to get it going on the defensive end, because this is 2 games in a row where defense was optional for Tennessee.
Well, you know what, man? The thing about it is, you look down here. I know we're going to get to it in a bit, but the points in the paint, we'll discuss that number here in a bit. But when that's the discrepancy right there, of course they're going to shoot that much better than we are, because they manhandled Jonas. Tobey couldn't do nothing, and the thing about it is Tolu Smith didn't play good.
No,
like, I mean, nothing. It was Hubbard. Hubbard absolutely gave us fits all game.
Man, he was almost my SEC freshman of the year.
He honestly could have been.
I mean, hey, shout out to me.
Yeah,
on that episode I did without you. I got every single award right. Well, I had Dillingham and Shepard flipped, but I got every single award right on that. I mean, and you could have won either way with those 2 kids, in my opinion. Absolutely. Both of them are the 6th man, and both of them are the freshman of the year. But man, Josh Hubbard could be right there too in that conversation. The kid is a baller.
Yeah, absolutely, man.
But, man, I mean, just more stuff to be concerned about, I guess, right here. Tennessee shot the 3 ball 33 times and only made 8 for a shooting percentage of 24.2. I'm not going to be upset about the 24.2. I mean, it's not good,
right? But
it's not abysmal. It's not like we're sitting at 10%. I mean, 24, you don't want to see that number. You want to see it closer to 30. But, I mean, still, man, I'm not gonna harp on that too much right there. The problem I have is Tennessee took 20 more threes than State did in this game.
Yeah, and they did it in the first half. They were 1 for 19, 1 for 18, whatever the number was in the first half. I want to say they ended at 1 for 19.
That sounds right, man. I don't remember. I try to block this one from my memory, honestly.
Well, they missed so many, it was probably hard to keep track of it.
Yeah, it's hard to keep track when you're at the Stone over there and you can't see it.
They just all game long, they just could not. It was, you know what I always say, they could not hit water if they fell out of a boat.
Man, they couldn't hit on a Broadway girl out there if they were going to Nudies or Tootsies or anything like that on Friday. Or hell, I think this team may have been on Broadway on Thursday night with how they played.
Right?
Recovering. Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I'm not saying that I don't think they actually did that. Let me go ahead and preface that. But they played like I would have played if I would have been on Broadway. But I don't think I could have played any better than they did, regardless of if I'm hungover or not.
Right.
Man, I mean, diving into the free throws, 12 of 10, but you didn't get... So the 83.3% when it comes to the free throw line, I'm okay with that number. I want to see it get to 85, but if your team is shooting 80% or higher, good. You only had 12 attempts, though, from the line.
Yeah, that's not acceptable, man. You got to get to the rack more than that.
If you don't, you get what you got. I mean, State ended with 10 more attempts. They got 7 more points off of it. Tennessee only hit 10. State hit 17. State had 22 attempts. Tennessee had 12. Rough, man. I would rather see Tennessee with the number State had at the free throw line.
Yeah.
Just because of the more attempts. I mean, because you're at least being aggressive at that point. But Tennessee just didn't have an answer. Diving into the rebounds, Tennessee won that battle 33-31. Offensive boards, 14 for Tennessee, 5 for State. Defensive for Tennessee, 19 versus 26 for State. Assist battle, Tennessee won that 12-1. Steals, State won that 9-8. And blocks, State won that 2-1.
That's the thing about it is, though, man, none of that mattered because they didn't play well enough for it to matter.
Ain't that the truth, man?
I mean, it's like, I get it. You know, we'll dive into that later. Let's move on.
Yeah, okay. Total turnovers in this game. Tennessee won that battle 14-15 for State. Points off turnovers, 13-12 for Tennessee. Even when it comes to that, fast break points, 6-11. Points in the paint, man. Like kind of like what you alluded to earlier, 42 for State versus 14 for Tennessee.
Like, where were Jonas and Tobey? That's my question. Where are you guys at?
They were thinking about getting back to Knoxville and not getting Hattie B's or Rippies or, Taco Mamacita or any of the good food in Nashville. They're thinking, Gus's Good Time Deli, man. Does that sound good tonight?
Right.
Like that's in my opinion. I mean, I just think that's how they played. They were uninterested, didn't want to be there for any of that.
Yeah.
Fast break points, man. Rough when it comes to this right here. 11 for State, 6 for Tennessee. We talked on that earlier. I think fouls. 17 for Tennessee, 14 for State. And then one stat that I didn't put on the graphic right here. State led wire to wire. Largest lead for State, 23, Tennessee 0.
Yeah. I mean, dude, at one point, it's just like, why are they even out there? It's like like that meme, throw in the damn towel.
It's what it seemed like. Well, and so here's something I've got right here, too. Why the hell did you play the starters that far into the game? Dalton goes down, blows out a knee. Z goes down, blows out his other knee. Major injury happens. Somebody rolls an ankle. Hell,
March is done before it even starts.
Yeah, that's what I'm concerned about right there. Diving into the box score for Tennessee, Jonas Adu in 26 minutes, 2 of 6 from the field, 1 of 2 from the line, 7 offensive boards, 3 defensive for a total of 10, 1 steal, 1 block, 2 fouls, 5 points.
Man, that can't happen.
Well, if that happens again, Tennessee's going home and the season's over with.
We might be able to get away with that against St. Peter's. Not after that.
No, once you're playing a Texas or who was it that won the game last night? Colorado State, which I want to talk on that one for just a second whenever we get to a different segment. Those teams are going to eat and they're going to be aggressive. So the game plan for teams to beat Tennessee is do exactly what State did. Punch them in the mouth early. Tennessee gets on their heels. They get hesitant and then they wait for Dalton to be the best player in the country. And it came back and bit Tennessee in the ass on this one.
That's kind of what Kentucky did too. It's like this, man. You let Dalton get his and make everybody else beat you.
Yeah.
Because everybody else can't beat you unless you get 20 from Zakai and 20 from Josiah, and you'd be better off hitting. You'd have better odds of getting struck by lightning right now than that.
Yeah. Well, man. So I'll say this right here. Teams have beat Tennessee. Well, Tennessee's beat a lot of teams by just having Dalton do his thing.
Right.
But that's going to run out eventually. It's if he goes cold in March, we're cooked. I've said it before and again. I'm going to say it again. That's what happens. Mm-hmm. Moving on to the man himself, Dalton Knecht. 35 minutes, 4 of 17 from the field, 2 of 9 from 3, 4 of 4 from the line, 1 board, 1 assist, 3 turnovers, 14 points.
Pedestrian.
It's kind of crazy, too, that we're saying that because if literally anybody else on the team had 14 points,
we're gushing.
Hey, great night. Good job. Here we are. We're like, oh, this is not good.
The thing about it is, though, with Dalton, now it's crazy how the narrative has changed with him because last year we were like, man, we got to have a guy like Dalton and that can take over the game.
Yeah.
Now it's, Tennessee relies too much on him. Where's the balance? In that, like, it's okay to rely on one guy, but you've got to have other guys step up.
And his back has got to be hurting, though.
Oh, dude.
He has carried this team all year.
Yes, absolutely.
Since January.
Yeah, he really has. He really has. Here's the thing, though. He's had 2. Kentucky was a great game for him. Don't get me wrong. But he usually when he has a game like this, dude, he's back in a big way.
Oh, yeah.
So we'll see what happens.
That's why I said, later in the show, we recorded with Rich earlier, 45 for Dalton against the Peacocks. I'm saying it right now. I'm sticking with my guns on that one right there.
Yes.
Moving on to Zakai Ziegler, 38 minutes, 7 of 17 from the field, 4 of 12 from 3, 2 of 2 from the line, 2 boards, 2 assists. I really don't know what to say other than 20 points.
Man, he's the only one that gave a crap.
Yeah, but 4 turnovers and 2 assists, man. Tennessee's going to get their ass beat if that continues to happen.
Like I say, they could get away with this type of effort maybe against St. Peter's. If Dalton has at least 20 or so, they can get away with that. After that, though, it's done.
It's over with if that's the case.
Yes.
I'm going to lump these 2 guys in together right here just for time constraints. Santiago Vescovi, 21 minutes, 1 of 6 from the field, 0 of 4 from 3, 2 of 3 from the line, 4 assists, 1 board, 3 fouls, 4 points. Josiah Jordan-James, 30 minutes, 0 of 5 from the field, 2 offensive boards, 7 defensive for a total of 9, 4 assists, 4 steals, 0 points.
Everything else looks good except that goose egg.
Yeah, I mean, it just, that's what Triple J does. Yeah. He's not going to be a scorer, but he's going to do everything else that shows up in the box score. He's going to rebound for you. He's going to dish the ball out. He's going to get steals. But, man, it's just, I hate seeing it that way. I really, really do.
I do too, man. He's better than no points. A lot better than that, I think. But this is what, out of those bottom two in the starting five there, that's what we get. That's what we've got all year just about.
Yeah, you ain't wrong on that. In 10 minutes, Tobe Awaka went 0 of 1 from the field. 1 offensive board, 2 defensive for a total of 3, 2 turnovers, 0 points in 10 minutes, man. That's not going to cut it right there. JP Estrella played really good, I thought. I mean, it doesn't show up in the box score, but he played better than any other big did.
Right.
8 minutes, goose egg on the points, 0 of 1 from the field, 1 offensive board, 1 defensive for a total of 2, 2 fouls. Like I said, I think that what he didn't really show up in the box score. Freddie Dilion didn't do anything, was barely in the game. It didn't even log him with 1 full minute. So nothing to touch on right there. Jordan Gainey, man, 11 points, 1 of 3 from the field, 1 of 3 from 3. Nothing. 1 steal, 1 turnover, 3 points.
Yeah. You know what? One thing I'll say this about Gainey. He won't pass up an open shot.
No, where Vescovy will, James will. Gainey's not going to miss he's not going to pass up an open shot, but I wish that Santiago Vescovy had that mindset.
Right, man. It's crazy. Like, nobody's going to be mad at you for missing it. Well, somebody might, but it's like this. If you're open and it's a good shot, shoot the damn ball.
Ain't that the truth, man?
Shoot the damn ball.
It's not hard. And then, honestly, man, the other guy I want to talk about right here, Jemiah Mashack played a hell of a game.
He did.
21 points, 4 of 6 from the field, 1 of 2 from 3, 1 of 1 from the line. Don't say it.
Best 3-point shooter on the team.
Yeah, I need to just push this right here. But, man, 10 points for Mashack. I can't really complain on anything he did in this game. But once again, Tennessee did shoot 30.6% from the field, 24.2% from 3, and 83.3% from the line.
See, this is one of those things right here. We got 13 points off the bench.
Yeah.
Adu does what he usually does and gets 10. Dalton gets 6 more. Santi, Triple J gets 1 more bucket. We win the game.
Yeah. Well, you got a lot of points to make up. But if you get more production from your bench, and you get literally anything from Josiah Jordan-James and Santiago Vescovy, I think it's a different game.
Yeah.
Because it starts out with a different pace when it comes to that. A couple guys I want to talk to when it comes to the Mississippi State Bulldogs. Man, Tolu Smith did not have a normal game for him. 23 minutes, 2 of 3 from the field, 4 of 6 from the line, 1 offensive board, 4 defensive for a total of 5, 1 assist, 5 turnovers. Good Lord. 3 fouls, 8 points. You did your job stopping him.
Right, but
you didn't stop Matthews. You couldn't stop Hubbard.
Mm-mm.
And so Matthews, let's look into this right here. 32 minutes, 7 of 7 from the field, 4 of 5 from the line, 2 offensive boards, 6 defensive for a total of 8, 3 assists, 2 steals, 18 points.
Damn, son, he was 7 for 7 from the field.
7 of 7.
7 of 7.
It's ugly, man.
100%.
It's ugly.
Did not miss.
And then Josh Hubbard, man, 34 minutes, 5 of 14 from the field, 3 of 8 from 3, 5 of 5 from the line, 2 defensive boards. That's his only boards he had. No assist, 1 steal, 1 turnover, 1 foul, 18 points.
This stat line over here, if you block out the names over here, that's typically what Tennessee's stat line looks like when they win.
That's ugly, man.
It is ugly, but typically that is what Tennessee's stat line looks like.
I don't disagree. I don't like it, but it is what it is. Once again, State shot 55.3% from the field, 30.8% from 3, and 77.3% from the line. Leaders of the game, Matthews carried them. 18 points. Ziegler had 20. Matthews, 8 boards. Jonas had 10. Matthews, 3 assists and 3 turnovers. So literally 1-to-1 assist to turnover ratio. Santiago Vescovy, 4 assists, 1 turnover. At least Santi did something.
Santi played a good game.
Yeah.
He played a decent enough game. But man, please, somebody tell that boy to shoot the damn ball.
That's what drives me crazy. Like, you can't expect to win games in March if Santiago Vescovi's not going to do what he needs to do.
For Tennessee to make a run, it doesn't have to be just one of them to be consistent. It needs to be either Santi or Triple J stepping up one game at a time, doing what they can do.
If you get 12 points combined from the two, I think you're fine. Yeah. I think that's what you need. But man, let's listen to what Rick Barnes, Jemiah Mashack, and Zakai Ziegler had to say at the end of that game on Friday in Nashville.
Congratulations to Mississippi State. I thought from the get-go they came out and their plan was to really be aggressive, drive the ball, obviously play inside, and we got away from really our defense at being in gaps, trying to shrink the court that's how we play, but we got away from that. Then I thought, again, give them credit. I thought offensively that we started missing shots and we let that carry over to the defensive end, and we got down, and it's almost like it snowballed on us, and but we didn't do a very good job of staying to our game plan. And I think Coach Jansen probably say they did a great job of executing their game plan. And again, congratulations to them. They dominated the game any and every way they wanted to.
All right, we'll take questions for either of the student athletes. If you'll raise your hand, and we'll get one of the remote mics to you. Okay, let's start on the second row on the center aisle.
Jemiah, just what do you feel like went wrong for y'all to start the game?
Defense. I feel like defense is that's how you're gonna lose games. Offensively, you don't know if you're gonna hit shots or not, but you can control defense. You can always control defense, and like they always done. Whether they lose or win, they're gonna stick with what they do. They didn't change whether it was the first time we played them or now. They did what they always do. They weren't trying to do anything extra. They weren't trying to do anything that they don't always do. So I think with us, we gotta settle down and play good defense. I think that will get us in transition, get us some easy looks. We're a good team when we're out and running, but if we're not getting our defense there, our offense is just gonna go downhill from there. And I think that's exactly what happened. And that's all you can say is just defensively we weren't locked in, especially in the first half.
Other questions? Raise your hand. Let's go to the front row on the right.
Grant Ramey on 3. Zakai, how do you guys keep this from becoming something worse? How do you turn this into something that can help y'all down the road?
When we go watch the film, we can't take anything personal, and everything that we see on that film don't lie, and we just gotta take it to heart and know that if we go out there and do that again, it's gonna be the end of the season. So we gotta know what's at the cost.
Other questions? Okay, let's go to the far left back.
Ryan Sylvia, Rivals. Jemiah, is there any level of concern going into March Madness with the losing streak?
Oh, absolutely not. Whatever it is that we were doing today, we're going to get that fixed for sure. I think we've shown it this whole season that we're a team with resilience, and I think games like this just build toughness for us. But guarantee that we are going to go back. We're going to look at whatever we need to look at. We're going to look at what we got to do ourselves and as a team, and we're not going to go through what we went through today. And it starts with seniors. It starts with me and Zakai. It starts with the guys that have been in that tournament, and then there's no second chances from there. So whatever we need to fix, we're gonna get it fixed, and we're gonna go from there and have ourselves a great March Madness.
Questions? Okay, let's go to the far left, second row.
Wes Rucker, 24/7 Sports. Zakai, y'all have had games this season like any team does where things just don't go right and you get in a deep hole. Until today, y'all usually came back and made those games interesting or even won them. Why didn't that happen today?
It just wasn't ourselves, and we can't let that happen again. Simple as that.
And that is what Rick Barnes, Zakai Ziegler, and Jemiah Mashack had to say at the end of the Mississippi State game on Friday. Jordan, what takeaways do you have from what was said?
Man, Zakai, first off, he looked madder than hell, and he should have been.
Well, he should have been. He was the only one who cared, is what it seemed like.
Jemiah, it's telling to me, too, that Rick had the two up there with him that had, honestly, probably the best game.
Well, it's hard not to put those two up there. You got to earn that in
Right.
March. You have to.
Right. One thing though, I don't like the word guarantee, but it is what it is. He said it. Like I hope he's right. I hope he can guarantee that they get it fixed because they're gonna have to, plain and simple, or they're going home.
Well, that's what the problem is right there. You know, I mean, I don't like guaranteeing anything when it comes to sports. I don't, you know, when it comes to anything like that. But I do believe that guarantee of we're going to be better is going to be accurate.
I think so. I mean, it's hard not to be accurate after that game.
Yeah, it's hard not to be a lot better.
Yeah.
It's really hard not to be. And one thing when it comes to that as well, it was a meaningless game at the end of the day. Tennessee had already locked up everything they possibly could have, other than a number 1 seed, which they saw no value in. That is what I take from any of this stuff.
Yeah, I could see that. Well, for a while I said, hey, I would rather have that 2 seed than that last 1 seed. And we got the top 2 seed.
Yeah, I mean, you do get the top 2 seed, man, but there was a graphic that I saw, and I'm going to try to pull it up very quickly over here, just about talking about what 1 seeds have done in the tournament prior. So give me just 1 second on that, Jordan.
All right. But, it's that time of the year, man, and honestly, seeding really don't matter. It don't. If you're meant to win and you have the desire to do it, you're going to do it.
Yeah, you really do. I cannot find my graphic that I have right here in front of me. So we'll see what happens on that. The biggest concern I do have, though, is no team has ever won a national championship with being beat in the first game in their conference tournament. And that's still what the aspirations are for this team. Maybe that can change, but I don't really think it's going to.
There's a first time for everything, buddy.
Yeah, and the Vols are going to be the one to do it, man. But I think it's that time, man. Player of the game?
I think we both agree.
Yeah, I think we do too.
Yes, sir.
It's hard not to go with that guy, man. He played one hell of a game, and he seemed to be the one who really cared.
Yeah, I mean, he played a good game. I mean, outside of the 4 turnovers he had, but man, it was hard. It's hard not to appreciate everything that boy does.
Oh yeah, man, it's impossible not to appreciate everything that kid does because he does such a good job, and it's not just Tennessee fans that appreciate him too.
No,
it's all of college basketball, and it's so funny because I think we're one of the most hated brands in all of athletics, and everybody loves Zakai just because of how he is. But man, you know what that means if we just did player of the game?
Oh, buddy, who is it? Oh, man, dude, I'm not going to lie to you. That hurts my heart.
It hurts my heart too, man. It's Rick Barnes in March, though, man. It's hard to get past what we've seen in the past, and it really shows, man. It makes it more difficult.
It does, man. It does. Maybe I want to think, though, this is the year he's got enough talent to overcome maybe a bad coaching game. There's going to be it happens in college football all the time. You get out coached, but talent wins at the end of the day.
Yeah, it does. And Tennessee has a lot of talent. I still think this team can go very, very far. I mean, if you guys have seen my bracket that I released, I've got Tennessee picking it all. That's not Grant going GBO. I think this team has the talent to do it and can do it. But is this team going to get beat in the first week in an early exit? Rick is going to show his face again? Or is this team going to be the one to do something nobody has ever done in Tennessee basketball history?
Man, I think the thing about it is this year, there's no in between with this team.
No.
It's boom or bust. They get put out the first round, first weekend. Everybody's, oh, well, there's March Rick.
Yeah, early exit Rick, man. I hope it doesn't come, but I think we both kind of can say we're expecting it, but if it doesn't happen, we're going to be pleasantly surprised.
Expect the worst, pray for the best.
Yeah, I think that is what Vol Nation needs to do, and I think a lot of that probably has to do with our BVS or battered Vol syndrome right there. But man, let's run to break real quick. Let's come back on the other side. Let's break down a little bit of Basevols versus the Tide, talk a little bit of spring practice, and then I've got a really big question I want to ask you as well.
All right. This next segment is brought to you by Three Kings of Cardboard, the go-to spot to upgrade your sports memorabilia collection. Check out their Facebook group and eBay page at Three Kings of Cardboard. I have dealt with them personally and will not deal with anybody else. My favorite item from them is my Jalen Wright 1-of-1 Bowman U Superfractor that they have pulled me. Check out our friends at Three Kings of Cardboard today.
All right, guys, welcome back into the program. Jordan, Basevols had a little bit of a rough week down in Bama country.
Oh, buddy. Losing 2 out of 3, so lost the series. Just not a good weekend for the Basevols, brother.
No, man. I mean, Tennessee's only win in the series came on Friday, March 15th, 11-3 over Bama. Then on Saturday, Tennessee lost 3-6. And then on Sunday, I mean, it was a really close game all day on Sunday, 6-7.
They, man, one problem that Tennessee has had, and it seems to go back to last year, they strand a lot of guys on base.
Yeah.
You can't leave ducks on the pond. You can't do it.
No, and if you are, you're going to get the results you had right there. Now, last year's team did have that issue. They were able to get it fixed later in the year. Tony, I think if there's one coach at the University of Tennessee I have a lot of faith in, it's Tony Vitello. He's a proven winner, and he has been since day one he stepped on campus.
Absolutely, man. If I had to rank him, it would be him. I'm going with Hype, 2.
I mean, it's hard not to.
And then, as bad as I hate to say it, man, Ricky Dale will have to be 3rd.
So start bench cut. Tony, Rick.
I would have to say so. I would have to say that
Tony,
order.
Hype, Rick.
It depends,
Heupel has had one good season, and I think people react to that differently. Now, I think we would have been doing backflips and cartwheels. Shout out Steve Spurrier on that, but we would have been doing that if that 8-4 season came before the 11-2.
Well, the thing about it is that 8-4 season. You look at what all was lost. Darnell Wright, that was the biggest loss, I think.
I don't know, man. Hendon Hooker.
Well, okay, so
hang on. Let's save that for our spring practice thing.
Baseball.
So dive back into baseball real quick on that for me, man.
Man, it sounds like pitching depth was a problem.
Yeah,
that was something that we kind of brought up in our baseball preview earlier in the year, and that sounds like it was a problem this weekend. Tony said we're open for business, and we'll hear it. We'll hear him go into that here in his clip. But Kirby did make his 100th game appearance on Sunday.
Man, Kirby Cannell, that guy has been, I feel like he's like 45 years old, has a 401k, a wife and 5 kids. He's been in Knoxville for forever and a day.
Well, with a mullet and a mustache like that, man, how could you not?
Fear the stash, man.
But he's the second Vol to ever do that after Redmond Walsh.
Okay.
So I'll break off a little knowledge for you there.
Redmond Walsh, man, that's a recent one too.
Right? But between not having enough pitching depth and poor plate discipline, get you beat every time.
Yeah. Well, man, let's hear what Tony Vitello had to say in Tuscaloosa on Sunday at the end of the series.
There in that bottom of the 8th inning with the lead, he seemed to be rolling pretty good there, and just kind of maybe left one bad pitch over the middle.
Yeah, I mean, we're facing our best hitter, or arguably their best hitter. Other guys in the lineup might take offense to that. They're kind of like our lineup, 1 through 9, is capable of doing damage. Even got a couple guys off the bench too, but that situation was obviously big, and we kind of had a mad scramble there before that with a great catch by Dylan. Made a poor pitch to a really good hitter. He made him pay.
And then obviously good to see A.J. Russell back out there today. What did you think of his outing?
He was good. I mean, I think it's good that we were able to start him based off how well our offense did Friday. And then on Saturday, Beam threw well enough. We didn't have to use him or go to the bullpen. So the fact he was able to kind of go through his routine and get out there and get to a decent amount of pitches, but at the same time we didn't gas him out. I think he was, just kind of feeling, not at 100%, so we're not going to go crazy and send him back out there. But he did everything we were wanting to today.
And obviously not the result you want for the weekend, but what can you take away from this weekend? Obviously a tough series on the road to start it and play.
Yeah, Alabama's good, and they were better than us this weekend, and we need to get better. And there's a bunch of different situations, whether it's base running or, hitting with some calm or pitchers, we're open for business. Russell will continue to build up pitch count, and that'll maybe deplete some opportunities from guys. But we're open for business and looking for guys who can help us in certain situations.
And that is what Tony Vitello had to say in Tuscaloosa on Sunday at the end of that series. Jordan, what takeaways do you have from the head man of the Volunteers?
Well, he clearly wasn't happy.
But how can you be happy? You just lost a series.
Yeah, I mean, and got kind of dominated.
Especially against Alabama. Yeah. That's one you don't want to lose, no matter what sport it is.
But I'm going to say this. No coincidence that they're playing Stacy's mom in the background. Somebody's going to have a nephew son in Tuscaloosa.
Man, you know how it is down there. Shout out to our buddy Christian. He wanted to bring that up to us as soon as we talked to him yesterday. Hey, how about that baseball series?
Yeah.
And Christian, I love you, but
And shout
love
out
the
to
Vols more.
Shout out to our Three Kings guys. They're Bama fans too. So
There's too much Bama on my show, man.
I know, man.
There's way too much Bama on my show.
Right.
So, man, I think we've kind of covered all the baseball stuff we can cover right now up to this point. Spring training, man, for football.
Yeah. I've been excited for this, buddy.
So, man, I'm going to give you roughly 4 minutes, 5 minutes right here. Run with the football thing, and then I'm going back to basketball because it's March.
Right on. Well, first day of spring practice was Monday. Guys not in full uniform working on the sideline. Brew, Spraggins, Aaron Carter, Elijah Herring, Peyton Lewis, freshman running back. Looking forward to seeing him this year.
I really want to see that kid play.
That kid looks the part.
Well, man, one thing, and I'm going to stop you on this right here, too. Talking about Brew for just a second, getting to see that man up and walking over there, man, the videos they're putting out on social media. I love seeing that because, honestly, man, at that South Carolina game where he got that injury, I said he's never going to play again.
Dude, that turned my stomach. I hated to see, and not just because it was so gruesome. I hated to see that. I hate to see that happen to anybody.
But a guy like that, man,
yeah,
I hate to see that. And I didn't see the injury live. I was at the game, and I don't know where I was. I was getting a hot dog or a beer in the bathroom. But man, I come back, and my dad was like, "You're glad you didn't see that,
right?" I wouldn't have been mad if I was at the heralded P-Troughs at Neyland.
Neyland P-Troughs stores, man. Hang on. We're talking about P-Troughs. The Eric Ainge Show, have you ever heard their P-Trough segment once a year?
No.
Dude, it's literally a whole episode where they tell P-Trough stories. Eric Ainge has a story of like all these guys like coming up to him with, their thing in their hand, in the P-Troughs. And they're like, "Oh my God, you're Eric Ainge."
Here.
There was one last year where somebody told a story where they were at the Denver Broncos stadium and they were there for an NFL game and John Elway walked in. And this guy turns to John Elway while he's peeing and pees down John Elway's leg. And he's like, "Oh my God, you're John Elway."
Don't pee on my leg. Tell me it's raining.
Right.
You're John Elway. Jesus.
Right.
Man. But Lance Hurd, from what everybody has said, that dude is a mammoth.
We need that help on the offensive line so bad, man.
Yeah, we do. It sounds like they've got a pretty good set. They got good depth down there right now. But shout out to our boy Dane.
Man, Dane, he's going to be playing a lot this coming year. We got to get him back on the show this summer, man. We got to.
We do. I'll have to reach out to our buddy here shortly and see.
Shout out Dane Davis, man. We love you, brother.
Absolutely. Holden Stays, tight end transfer from Notre Dame. He looks good, long, lengthy, athletic. They've been really impressed with his blocking ability this year, which is good because in this offense, the tight ends block.
Yeah, well, the tight ends do a little bit of everything in this offense.
They do.
Like what was it Heupel did in 22 with Princeton? He turned into the Swiss Army knife for the whole team. He was a halfback. He was a wide receiver, tight end, running back. He did everything.
Put him in that I formation against Bama. Bama didn't know what hit him.
No, man, but no team did. And he also was like one of the first Vols in a long, long time. I don't know the exact stat, but to have a rushing, passing, and receiving touchdown in that year.
I want to say it was like 40 years or so.
Yeah, because he had that touchdown pass to Jalen Hyde in that UT Martin game.
Yeah.
And oh man, that was beautiful.
Yeah, it was. Nico, though, he was doing Nico things, but it was against air. Yeah, you and I go out there and throw dimes on air.
Quarterbacks, whenever it's a non-contact jersey and they're not really wearing pads and they're just out there throwing to the guys who are in pads, you don't really get anything from it.
Right. But we got a good preview of what Nico is capable of doing during the Citrus Bowl.
Man, I am so excited for that kid.
I am too. And JPJ, baby, James Pierce Jr.
Man, so I saw something the other day. There was a mock draft had him going first overall.
Dude, that does not surprise me, man. That dude is a beast.
He's good enough for it.
He
really is. He's the best defensive player in college football this year.
Has to be. If he's not the best, I want to know who is.
Yeah, I don't think that there's an answer to it.
No.
I think that is your answer.
Yeah, absolutely. The kid from Tulane, Brazel.
He's going to wear number 11, man.
He's got some big shoes to fill wearing that number. I can tell you
but
that.
He's a shorter, skinnier guy, too. He almost looks like Hyatt in it.
Oh, Bama
So-
fans having nightmares right
Man,
now.
they're gonna be having nightmares of him waving bye-bye to those Bama defenders that fell down.
Man, they say that kid is good. He's lengthy, athletic, just can do whatever. Braylon Staley, they had him lined up in the shot. And dang it, I can't talk. Lined up in. I'm so excited.
Right?
Lined up in the slot. Squirrel was leading the group. Mike Matthews, though, he was working as the outside wide receiver. That kid is one I'm excited to see. It's been a while since we've really had a consistent guy that can go up and get the ball. I think that's the dude that can do it.
Hey, I hope so, man. So let me ask you this to kind of close out football right here. Which player are you the most excited to see in 2024 for the Volunteers on the football field?
Not named Nico. I would go with either Mike Matthews or Boo Carter. Boo Carter was working with the punt team.
Okay.
As punt returner. Last year, D. Williams won us a game off of a punt return.
Boo Carter's got to be my answer on that right there. And then also, I'm really excited for Holden Stays, man.
Yeah.
You need a good tight end in this offense.
We
And
do.
Like last year, it was McAllen Castles and Jacob Warren. Jacob Warren didn't really give you a whole lot. McAllen Castles was by far the best tight end you had on the team last year. But it still wasn't that kind of like what Tennessee had in 22 with Jacob Warren and Princeton Fant. You were missing that. And I think that Holden Stays can be the guy who can bring that back to Rocky Top.
In this offense, man, I think a big, good tight end that can do both blocking and be a factor in your offense makes it so much more dynamic. And I think that's something we were missing last year. Just between that and with Joe. I mean, Joe, we know our thoughts on Joe. I know you're not a big Joe fan.
I was going to say, I'm going to mute my mic whenever you want to talk about Joe.
I like Joe as a teammate. I know he wasn't perfect last year, honestly. A lot of my thing was I just like to rile folks up.
Yeah,
So,
and you want to rile me up more than you want to rile anybody else up. That's for damn sure.
I'll rile you up all day long, boy. But that was something that we missed last year. If we get any kind of production out of a tight end this year, it will open up that offense a ton.
Yeah, I agree. And that's why I'm so excited for Holden Stays. I think he can really be the guy who can open up things down the field for Tennessee.
Mm-hmm.
And a young quarterback too, man. They need their tight end. That's your safety valve right there. I mean, you look at Nico's touchdown passes last year.
Yeah.
McAllen Castles. I think he was the only one who caught a Nico touchdown pass.
Yeah. I mean, in the Citrus Bowl, he ran for what, 3?
Yeah.
Ran for 3.
That kid's
James
going to be
Pierce
so
Jr.,
special.
Pick 6. Dude, and when he got that pick 6, he was scooting.
Oh, yeah, man. I'm excited for football this year, though, man. Like, for the first time in, like, a really, really long time, like, overly excited for what they can do. Yeah. Everybody knows who listens to the show, basketball is my love.
Yeah.
I care about basketball more than I care about anything other than my dog, probably. My dog and my family. That's about the two things that are over basketball for me. But I've got that excitement that I've had for basketball in the past for this football team this year. I think a lot of it has to do with Nico, man. And then getting Boo Carter, you got Brazel, you got his brother coming in too. Yeah. And then Dylan Sampson, man. I can't believe we haven't even mentioned him.
Oh, dude, he's the D-Samp, man. There wasn't a whole lot out there on him. I didn't see a whole lot on him, but
I'm so excited for that kid to be the lead back, though. And then Cam Selden being able to take snaps with him, man.
We've talked about it before. Tennessee has a lot coming back on offense that's going to help Nico, that's going to benefit Nico. And I think we'll see it. I think we'll see it this year because, I mean, you think about it, we get Florida at home, we get Alabama at home. Biggest road game is going to be Georgia. No? Yeah, we got to go to Georgia.
Yeah, you got to go to Georgia. You got Florida and Alabama and Knoxville this year. You've got Oklahoma as a road game.
That's the game that right there that I think is gonna set the tone for us this year. But we'll move on because we've talked a lot of football and I could do it all day.
I know you can, but man, here's one thing I'm going to say real quick on that. Oklahoma, do the Vawlin Out boys need to go do a live show from Norman, Oklahoma?
Dude, I'll dress up in my nut huggers and big orange cowboy hat. Don't you think I won't?
Hey guys, drop it in the comments. You want to see us go to Norman? Let's talk about it. All right, man. So I'm going to change the pace right here, and we're going to go back to the hardwood. And we're going to talk some hoops right here real quick. What does Tennessee need to do in March Madness to make this season not a failure?
Get past the Sweet 16.
I agree with that. So Failure in this, obviously, is losing to St. Peter's, that's nightmare scenario right there. People are getting fired. People are not returning to Knoxville. Players, coaches, everything like that. I'm not saying Rick Barnes is going to get fired, but there's going to be coaches who don't come back because of that, because somebody's going to have to be a scapegoat.
Oh, yeah. Some heads are going to roll if that happens. I think that for this season to be considered a true success, they have to at least get to the Elite Eight or the Final Four. I mean, it's been a topic of conversation all year long on this show, amongst others, that they are a Final Four team. They are a Final Four team when they play good.
That's the thing right there. When they play their best, nobody can beat Tennessee. There's not a team in the country that can beat Tennessee when Tennessee plays their best ball.
No, but whenever you get, I'm just going to call it what it is, a big old turd like you did in that first round against Mississippi State, you're done week one or game one of the tournament.
Well, and you're at this point right now, too, in the season where when you lose a game, it's all over with, man.
Yeah.
There's no way that you can go back from that. I mean, your season is literally over. You're back in Knoxville. You're thinking about the draft if you're Dalton. You're thinking about going and playing in Uruguay if you're Santiago Vescovi. If you're Josiah Jordan-James, you're thinking about learning Chinese so that way you got it whenever you get out to the CBA in China.
Yep.
You've got all that right there. Don't get ahead of yourself. Focus at what's ahead of you, because what I think Tennessee has done in the past this season is they get caught looking ahead to another opponent.
Yes.
Mississippi State, I think Tennessee honestly said, Auburn or South Carolina, we gotta worry about that if we're going to be playing on Saturday in Nashville. Well, now look at where it got you.
Yeah. Well,
if you're at St. Peter's, if you're doing that against St. Peter's, you're probably going to be fine still. Let's be realistic. But if you go play Texas or Colorado State, man, that was rough.
Colorado State, actually, I'm not going to lie to you, kind of scares me more than Texas does.
Oh, man, did you see the final score of that game last night? The Colorado State and Virginia?
Mollywopped them, son.
Virginia did not score a field goal for literally an hour.
Wow.
It was like 57 minutes of real time had passed. They didn't score, so it was... Let me find this right here, because you're going to be like, what in the world? So... Virginia went an hour. It was in the first half. 9:20 was their last basket. They scored 14 points. They did not make another basket until 16:36 in the second half, and that got them to 16 points.
It's like watching my buddies at the bar, man. They couldn't score.
Dude, that's what I'm saying right there. Like it was horrible, man. That was not good basketball to watch. It was not fun to have it on TV, but I'm a junkie right here. This is my crack fix right here of the year is March Madness basketball. But, man, I kind of agree with you on that. Tennessee has to get to the Elite Eight for this season not to be a failure. If Tennessee loses in the round of 32, how does your outlook on the season change?
Oh, man. That's tough, man, because I don't want to just crap on what they've done all year. They had a great year, really. And, and I think that's part of what's kind of going on right now. That's why people have the thoughts that they do. You know, these last two games have not went the way that anybody wanted them to here.
No.
That Kentucky game, though, that's not as bad as everybody was saying.
It was a 4-point loss.
Yeah.
It's not like it was you went out there and you got beat like you got beat against State, or you got beat against Texas A&M, or you got beat against South Carolina and Knoxville.
Right. Mississippi State, though, that one is concerning just because, you know, we just got manhandled.
Well, you had the opportunity to beat every single team in the SEC this year.
Yeah.
And you couldn't get it done.
Right. And that was just they just embarrassed us. And there's teams in the tournament that are a lot better than Mississippi State that can do that to Tennessee if they don't play good.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I agree with that, man, right there. Tennessee's got a lot of work they need to do. If they are going to get to Phoenix, like I think they can, like you think they can, like everybody in the world thinks Tennessee can.
Are they going to do it?
You gotta be better. And are you going to do it? That's the thing right there. Jordan.
One more thing I want to say real quick. What's wrong with them, though, in these losses? It's very fixable. I know it's late in the year to talk about stuff getting fixed, but it's not big things that's wrong. It's a lot of little things, and they snowball into big things. And you can fix the little things If it was a bigger glaring issue, like effort can be fixed.
Yeah.
Or just, poor play in general, consistently. It's not been there. Poor play consistently has not been there. Everything's fixable at this point for them. Barnes has said it. All the guys have said it. The one thing that I don't want to hear, though, after a loss especially, is, well, we walked in and expected to win. Adu. It don't matter if you expect to win. You expect to win every damn game.
Well, that's
you
the
step
thing
on
right
the court.
there. You expect to win every single time you take the floor.
You expect to win every single time you take the damn floor. But you don't. You have to play like you expect to win, not go out and half-ass it.
Yeah, well, and that's what they did right there, man. So what do you give Tennessee on a percentage chance to make the Final Four?
Oh, man. It's so tough, man. Depending on the matchups, I'm going to go, 7.5.
7.5%?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm giving it way higher than that, man. I'm sitting over here at like 20%. I just think it can happen this year, man. I mean, I think our bracket is loaded. I mean, just diving into it right here, you got Purdue as the 1 seed. Tennessee is the 2. Your 3 on this one is Creighton. Your 4 is, let's see.
Kansas, I think.
Kansas, yeah. You got Kansas as the 4. Your 5 is Gonzaga. Your 6 on this one is South Carolina. Like, Texas is the 7. Your 8 on this is Utah State. 9 is TCU. 11 Oregon. 12 McNeese State, which I really like that team this year.
Yeah.
Now, there's something I do want to tell you on them here in just a second.
Okay.
But this bracket it's loaded right here, but I like Tennessee's chances to at least get to the Sweet 16.
There's not a name in there other than maybe other than like a McNeese State that they're going to overlook. That's my thing. Outside of this first game, they might overlook St. Peter's, but it's one of those things, unless they just play god-awful, I think they can still sneak out of there with a win. After that, depending on how that bracket goes, and we say this every year, if the right upsets happen, blah, 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 we get those upsets, don't happen. I almost hope they don't happen for us.
Yeah.
Like, I almost hope they don't, because if they don't, Tennessee will come in locked in.
Yeah. So, man, one thing, too, and we'll run to the next break and bring Rich in with us after this. McNeese State, man, their non-conference schedule is a joke. Like, you could not even imagine how bad this is when I'm about to tell you.
Oh, Lord.
They beat Bible Studies University 96-55. Champion Christian University 110-46. And the one that you're going to have a fit over this. Are you ready?
Let's hear it.
Mississippi University for women.
What?
They have a men's team, though. They have a men's team. They beat Mississippi University for women 92-23.
What?
Yeah.
92-23. University of Mississippi School for Women.
Yeah.
So were they playing?
They were playing the men's team. They have a men's team. They have men's athletics there.
Was it the men's team or the men's team?
It was the men's team.
Okay.
Legitimate men.
Okay.
But they have men's athletics at the University of Mississippi for women. I thought that was hilarious.
That is hilarious.
I was dying whenever I saw that, man.
If you're on that campus and it's a school for women and you're a man, dude, you've got to be in the minority. You're slaying it.
Oh, yeah. Dude, there were some guys on a show that I listened to that I watched before we got on here and started doing this, and they were talking about that. And they were like, it's got to be the best recruiting tactic for a 17-year-old kid of all time.
Hormonal at that.
Right?
Just like a tomcat, son.
Man, that was crazy. Guys, stay tuned. We're going to bring in our friend Rich Behan from St. Peter's University to break that game down. So stay tuned. We'll be right back.
Behan.
Hey, guys. Are you all anything like me? You have a hard time getting out of bed in the mornings until you get that first drop of caffeine in you? If so, I want to invite you to give our friends at W a try. W has created a Jitterless energy blend. It comes in a powder. You drop it in a shaker, water in it, shake it up. You're good to go. There's no calories, no fillers, no artificial colors, and no sugar in it. So you don't get that sugar crash you would normally get from an energy drink that you would go get at the gas station. My favorite flavor is Beach and Peach, which is a white mango peach. And let me tell you guys, this stuff tastes amazing. If you guys want to give them a try, Go to w.gg on your web browser and type in promo code Vawlin Out for 10% off. VAWLINOUT for 10% off. All right, guys, welcome back into the show. We are joined by a very special guest, Rich Behan from St. Peter's University. How you doing, my man?
Doing okay. Thank you guys so much for having me. It's been a wild ride up until now, and hopefully it's not going to stop anytime soon.
Well, for our sake, we hope it does stop for you guys here on Thursday. But, man, Jordan, what questions you got for him about St. Peter's?
Buddy, man, just tell us who we need to kind of look out for and what to kind of expect from you guys. Obviously we've not seen much of you guys. I know you guys had a good conference tournament. So tell us what we need to look for coming from you guys Thursday night.
St. Peter's is a program that's really built on one word, and it's kind of been a word that has followed the head coach around throughout his entire career, and it's toughness, right? You got to just be tough to play this team. Really, the biggest thing is defense. If you play defense, you will play. Everything starts on defense for this team. I know, basketball in 2024, a lot of teams are offensively minded, not basketball in Jersey City. It's going to be tough. It's going to be a grind. They're going to try and grind you down for 40 minutes, and really they're going to take it to you.
Who are some of the players Tennessee fans should be on the lookout for? A lot of us know about Zakai Ziegler's brother. I think his name is Armani. But what other players should Vol fans be looking for to make an impact in this game?
There's two for me that really jump out right away. And honestly, two of the, in my opinion, better stories in college basketball that I don't think people really know about. I'll start with the first one in the starting point guard, Latrell Reed. Trell came to St. Peter's as a walk-on and has progressed his game so much that he was just awarded as the MAC Defensive Player of the Year this year in the conference. So just to see the growth in his game from when he first appeared here on campus to now, lockdown defender, can get to the rim strong, and can just really do it all for this Peacocks team, and is really the true leader for this team. The second guy I would talk about is Corey Washington, the forward for this team. He is just a tremendous athlete. Came to St. Peter's, had no offers coming out of high school. Flew from Arkansas, which is where he's from, to Jersey City on his own dime to do a tryout for the coaches and the team, and impressed the coaches and the team so much that afterwards, Coach Bashir Mason said to his staff, "We're not letting this kid leave." And they didn't. They gave him a scholarship. And he was the all-rookie team. He was on the all-rookie team last year for the conference, and moved up to the all-MAC first team this year. He has progressed his game that much.
That's awesome, man. That's a good story. That's the definition of betting on yourself right there.
Yeah, he did a great job betting on himself. So let's talk about the guy all of Vol Nation wants to know about, Armani Ziegler. Tell us about the kid's game. We know he's much taller than Zakai. Zakai's 5'9" on a good day. I think Armani's listed at 6'4". If is that right?
Something around there.
What's his game style like? What does he do best? What position does he play? And what should Tennessee fans expect from Armani?
If you were going to limit me to one word or a few words, just he is a freak athlete. I mean, he is jumping out of the gym on a nightly basis. Whether it's crazy putback dunks or crazy chase down blocks, he has just kind of came in here as a freshman at St. Peter's and just really shown off just his athletic ability and what he brings to the floor as a guard for this team. Just super athletic, super always willing to get down in the gritty business of basketball, and just really kind of putting nose to the pavement and just being a gritty type player that is freakishly athletic and really has a good jump shot as well. I think it'll develop a little bit more as he continues to get a little older, I should say. But just for being a freshman and such a young player, he's just freakishly athletic.
Man, that's it's kind of like it sounds like he's a taller version of Zakai, really.
Yeah. I mean, I think Zakai might be a little bit mad that he didn't get the good genes in the family, and he's stuck a little bit closer to the ground than Armani, right?
The height gene,
right?
Generation there, you know.
So let's dive into this game just a tad bit right here, gentlemen. So the game is going to be played on Tuesday on TNT at 9:20 p.m. Eastern, 8:20 Central. ESPN Matchup Predictor is giving Tennessee a 98% chance to win this game, and the point spread is 21.5. St. Peter's going to cover that point spread, do you think, Rich, or what?
It's tough, right, to kind of talk about games like this, and you have 98%, and just I'll take you back to what the Peacocks did 2 years ago, and really just defying all odds, right? Beating Kentucky, beating Murray State, beating Purdue, getting all the way to the Elite Eight. My answer to that is when you get to March, anything can happen. So maybe they will, maybe they won't, but nonetheless, I think it's just a tremendous story.
We're very fond of you guys for sending Kentucky back to the coal mines.
We call them Kentucky here in Tennessee, so we were very happy of that. I'll never forget. I was at the gym that day while that game was on, and I had it on my phone, and I'm like on one of the weight machines, and somebody's like, "Are you using that right now?" I'm like, "Hang on, I need a place to sit." Kentucky's about to get beat by the Peacocks, so I was the happiest person in the world that day. I'm probably the biggest Kentucky hater in Vol Nation.
And it's funny you say that because now the Kentucky fans are back in our mentions asking us to do that to you guys.
They hate us as much as we hate them.
It's funny to see how things change in the span of 2 years.
The tables have turned, that's for sure. But we're hoping we don't have the same fate as the coal miners.
Yeah, we don't have anything good to say about Kentucky. So your leading scorer is Corey Washington, also leads you in rebounds, and it looks like Latrell Reed leads you guys in assist. Is that correct?
Yep.
Okay. Any other named players? I know you mentioned a couple of others, but anybody else who can make a really big impact, and who's going to play down low for this team as well?
There are two guys that I think fly under the radar on this team, one of them being Michael Hogue. And one of them being Mohamed Sow. Michael Hogue is similar to Corey Washington in that they're both forwards, but their game is a little bit different. They both don't really shoot the three that well, but are both tremendously good and talented post players. I think Corey is a little bit more finesse. Michael Hogue is a little bit more body up and get in there. But he can really make an impact if given the ability to shine. And then Mohamed Sow, honestly, is another great story. He'll most likely start at the 5, I would think. And I say it's a great story because over the past few days, he's actually been celebrating Ramadan and played the entire MAC tournament while fasting.
Oh, wow.
And had quite possibly the best games of his career, or best games of the year, I would say, while all that was happening. So,
wow,
that's impressive.
I hope he eats this week. Slow him down just a little bit,
Yeah. So who's your best defensive player on the team, and who's going to be matched up with Dalton Connect, who obviously SEC Player of the Year, in my opinion, should be the National Player of the Year in the country. I know we're not going to get that because it's going to go to Zach Edey, but who's going to be trying to stop Dalton Connect from going for 40 again?
Yeah, I would say if I had to guess, probably just size wise, it would probably be Corey Washington. But I don't know if maybe he would get worn down a little bit, so maybe they try different bodies on him throughout the game because Connect is just an amazing talent, such a big body. I think really has an ability to wear defenses down. So it's going to be interesting to see the Peacocks kind of how they decide to defend him, and if it's going to be by committee or if it's going to be somebody's assignment the entire game.
I'd say that's a safe assessment. What I've come to realize over the last 3-4 games or so, to me, if your best bet to beat Tennessee, if you can find somebody to man up Dalton and take him away and make the other 4 guys beat you, that's your best bet. That's your best bet because Dalton's going to get his.
Yeah, man, don't be giving them the blueprint on how to beat Tennessee. We don't need a loss in the first round as a 2 seed, man. Come on.
It's funny you say that though, but it was kind of the same thing that happened 2 years ago, right? Oscar Tshiebwe had 20 and 20 in that game, and the Peacocks still found a way to win. So, maybe it's going to be something similar on Thursday night. Maybe it won't be, but I think there's a way that Dalton Connect could still have a big game, and maybe the Peacocks could still pull it out.
I hope that doesn't happen, but if so, for your sake, I'm going to be pulling for the Peacocks to go all the way and cut down the nets in Phoenix.
Absolutely.
So, couple things that I guess I want to ask on this. What's your score prediction on this one, Rich?
Well, yeah, I mean, I'm going to have to go with my Peacocks. So I'm going to say for the Peacocks to win this game, it's probably going to have to be a lower scoring.
Mm-hmm.
So let's go 72-68.
Okay. That's Jordan. What do you got on a score prediction?
We're not gonna cover a 21.5 point spread. I'll tell you that. I'm the betting man on the show. I'll take those 21.5 and run all day long. I would say it's probably along the lines of what Rich gave us there, but I'm gonna bump it up and say maybe 78-68 Vols.
I'm kind of going close with you on that, Jordan. I'm going to say 83-67, and Dalton Connect gets 45.
Ooh.
I'm gonna make a bold prediction right there.
Oh.
So, Rich, a couple more questions for you on this, man, and then we'll let you run. We know you're a busy guy. If St. Peter's doesn't win it all, who's winning the whole tournament? Who's cutting down the nets in your bracket?
I graduated from Seton Hall, as we were talking about before. I got a lot of love for Big East. I worked for Seton Hall while I was there for my 4 years during undergrad. So I'm gonna have to go with a Big East team. It's tough picking the number one team in the nation, but I think UConn really has the ability to do it again.
So you got them going back to back.
Yeah, they just have so many pieces, and that team is so well put together. Also, going a little bit ties with my team as well. Bashir Mason has been under Danny Hurley for a while now.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to go with UConn. I think they really have the chance to do it again.
It's one of those things, man. It's hard to argue with anybody picking them, though. It really is. They're a sound basketball team. And, to his point, the Big East, man, back in the day, that was probably the best conference in college basketball.
It wasn't just probably, it was.
Syracuse was good when they were part of it. UConn's always been decent.
Oh, yeah.
Marquette's always been good. I mean, it was a who's who, there for a while.
It sure was. Who do you have winning the Midwest bracket?
The Peacocks.
You got the Peacocks going all the way to Phoenix.
Come on, I have to.
I feel you on that. One last question for you, man. Were you working for the team back whenever you guys beat Kentucky in that year and made that Elite Eight run?
I was. That was actually my first year.
Okay.
With the program, I was still a grad assistant at the time. I've been promoted since then, but I was still a grad assistant. It was an absolute whirlwind of a time and something I'll never forget.
Man, I bet that was a great time. Like I said, if Tennessee gets beat by you guys on Thursday, I think all of All Nation's going to be pulling for you guys to make a long run, so that way maybe we can hire up your coach or something.
Yeah, take the sting away from us too,
Yeah.
Listen, it's a wild ride, this March Madness. I think to be just a part of it. I've only been working in this profession for a few years now, a short time, and I'm pretty young, but the ability to do this twice in 3 years is something special and something I didn't think that I'd get the chance to do. So I'm just thankful to be a part of it, thankful to kind of be along on the ride. And if it stops early, it stops early. But hey, listen, if we're still playing basketball into April, can't complain.
Ain't that the truth?
That's right.
I think everybody's hoping to be able to get to April right there. But Rich, thank you so much for jumping on with us, man. I really do appreciate it. Jordan does as well.
Absolutely.
We're excited for this game on Thursday at 9:20 p.m. Eastern, 8:20 Central on TNT. And we will be right back, guys, so make sure you all stay tuned.
If you're looking for the perfect Smoky Mountain vacation, Mountain Romance is your cozy romantic getaway. Starting at $129 per night, you get 2 bedrooms, 2 full baths, and this beautiful cabin will sleep up to 6 people. With an amazing mountain view, pool table, and fire pit, this place has it all and is located within minutes of downtown Gatlinburg. To inquire, go to Airbnb and search for Mountain Romance or email bearslayer2021@gmail.com.
All right, Jordan, really fun conversation with our friend Rich from St. Peter's.
Mr. Behan was bringing it, son.
Man.
We appreciate him coming on.
Lots of really good insight on that. So one thing I want us to do, man, let's listen to what Rick had to say about seeding, March, everything like that. Break it down. and we'll close out the show.
Let's do it.
Coach, I imagine you haven't really done a deep dive into the bracket yet, but just initial thoughts about the seed and the region.
Well, no, I really haven't. I just told the team, and really we got to look at it like it's a Charlotte Invitational right now. It's us, St. Petersburg, and then we'll go from there. But I congratulate our guys because you don't ever take this time of year for granted, and the fact that they've worked hard all year to put themselves in a position to earn the seed they've gotten, and I think they'll be excited to play. I mean, there's no doubt in my mind they're going to be ready to play and excited to play, but it's just you don't take it for granted, and we're blessed to have this opportunity, and we've got to go really try to make the most of it.
How do you feel like, or what's kind of been the message to the team since the loss, and how do you feel like they bounced back?
Well, again, I've told them a lot of stories. I've got a lot of stories I can tell, but you look at college basketball this weekend, teams that won the regular season. I don't know, I think only Connecticut won it, their postseason tournament. And you go through it. I go back the year we went to the Final Four. We lost in the first round of the Big 12 tournament to Coach Knight and Texas Tech, and I remember him grabbing me and said, "Hey, man, this is good for you." He said, "Now go win you a national championship." We got there. We didn't win it, but again, I could keep going stories after stories. But it's college basketball, and we are where we are right now. I think we know who we are and what we need to do, and we've got to. It's a whole new season. It's the postseason, but it's a new season for 68 teams that all of them are playing for a chance to win a national championship and play on Monday.
St. Peter's get your guys' attention a little bit more because of the run they went on a couple years ago?
Well, that's what I told our team. I said if I were at St. Pete right now, it'd be the first thing I'd put up right there. Say, look what happened. It can be done, and we know it can be done now at every level. I mean, we've seen a 16 beat a 1, a 15 beat a 2. And it's about our focus and getting ready, and we've got to go out and we're going to have to play great basketball from here on out, because if you're playing this time of year, you're playing good basketball, and even teams like ourselves who lost 2 in a row, but you look at that board when they put it up, there's no easy games for anybody. I don't think anybody thinks it's an easy one, and because if you're playing now, you're playing good basketball.
Is there any extra significance in the guys that have been on this team having that experience of 2 years ago winning the tournament, losing in the second round, as opposed to last year, kind of limping in Zakai's injury and made a run to the second round?
I hope so. I mean, what's interesting, Zakai's brother playing for St. Pete, so that's an interesting little sideline there. But the fact is, we've got some experienced guys that have been there, and I think that will help. Certainly hope so. And as I said last year, I'm really proud. We talked about it yesterday with this group, how with Zakai down last year, how hard those guys fought to get where we got to the Sweet 16, and I expect this team to have the same attitude to get there and hopefully further. But we got to take care of round 1 and against a team that, again, if they're in it, they're capable.
And that is what Rick Barnes had to say diving into the March matchup against the Peacocks, kind of talking about seeding and everything like that. Jordan, what takeaways do you have from all that?
Well, at least he kind of, alluded to the fact that if they're playing this time of the year, they're good enough to beat you.
Oh, yeah.
That tells me, at least hopefully, Rick's not like, well, guys, this is going to be a cakewalk. Let's get ready for Texas or Colorado State.
Man, I do not want that Texas game at all.
We talked about it a little bit, on the live last night, but them making that bracket the way they did, the committee knew exactly what they were doing.
Trying to get emotional and get people in their feels on it.
Yeah, exactly. That bottom bracket though that we're in, and that Midwest bracket, dude. I mean, there's so many storylines in that thing. The Tennessee rematch with Purdue, possibly Texas and Tennessee. UT versus UT,
Well, we're the real UT. They're UT Junior. We've been
right.
a university longer than they've been a state.
Without the state of Tennessee, Texas doesn't exist.
Ain't that the truth? They're northern Mexico at that point.
Horns down.
I'll always do it.
But, okay, so basically what I take out of that is Rick knows he's got to have him ready.
Yeah.
Got to have him ready. It don't matter who you're lining up against. He knows that. Do the guys know that? That's the thing.
I don't know. That's what the problem is with this, man. I mean, we don't know what their mindset is. I mean, I would hope that they're angry after how the past 2 games have went. It's just concerning on some things. Rick Barnes has always lost to a lower seed in March Madness. He's never lost to a higher seed.
Well, it's hard to lose to a higher seed whenever you're a 1 or a 2 seed.
Yeah, but I mean, if you're 1 or a 2 seed, you're supposed to be playing in the Elite Eight.
Right, you would think.
He just can't get there. That's what the problem is.
Yeah, well, they were talking about this the other night on one of the shows we watch, and does he practice them too hard this time of the year?
He does.
I think so.
A lot of players have said that they don't really like the hard practice that they get this late in the year. It wears down their legs and everything like that. That's where I can see a concern coming from.
Sure. It's like, you know what you got at this point in the year. There's not a whole lot to coach on. There's stuff to fix, but there's not a lot to coach on at this point in the year. Just fix what you know you can fix. Figure out a way, whatever weakness you've got, figure out a way to try to mask it, or, just not have to go there at all. You know? But man, like, we just need to win.
That's what it is.
I don't care how they do it.
Yeah, but if it's a 1-point win, you're going to be like, oh.
Hey, if they can go all the way to the Natty with a 1-point win, I'll take it.
Yeah, I just don't want it to be against the Peacocks. It's a 1-point win. Trust me, I need this to be like a 30, 40-point dub.
We may go into convulsions, but I'll take it.
Yeah, but can you imagine how rough the show's going to be on Friday that we do if Tennessee only wins by 1 point?
I'll tell you what, I'll leave that up to you.
Oh God, you're gonna have me all fired up. I'm gonna be like, season's over with.
Fired up.
And I'm gonna be like, season's over. That's just how it's gonna be. But man, this has been a fun episode that we've gotten a chance to do.
It is, man. It has. We hung out last night, done the live show. I'm just glad to be back.
I'm glad to have you back, man. It ain't the same without my partner in crime over here. But man, Vols take on Peacocks tomorrow, 9:20 p.m. Eastern, TNT.
I'll be there.
Man.
I mean, not there, but
I know what you're saying right there. Man, it's gonna be a fun one. I can't wait. March is here. It's win or go home time, man. It's what it is. Guys, we'll be breaking that game down on Friday, hopefully getting that out to you guys Friday night, Saturday morning. Be patient with us. Sorry for the technical difficulties on this one. Issue with the recording stuff. Nothing else we could really do on that. So thank you to our wonderful partner on helping to get it fixed back up, though.
Yes, absolutely.
So, but man, as always, go Vols.
I'm going to go a little different. Vols by 50.
Oh, okay. Go Vols.